Hi everybody, you want to go for a walk? I'm Rick Chambers for Professorate.com. We're going to show you the best beaches in the world. Come on. All right, let's talk about the Atlantic. The Atlantic, I think, gets a bum rap. Mention the Atlantic and you think of Atlantic City, not Rio de Janeiro, but both are on the Atlantic. Mention the Atlantic and you think of the Titanic or Atlantis, not the Turks and Caicos, home to wonderful warm water beaches, which everybody thinks, incorrectly by the way, are in the Caribbean. The Atlantic is beautiful. The Atlantic includes São Tomé off the west coast of Africa. It includes Fernando de Noronha off the coast of Brazil. It includes the pristine islands off Maine, the shores of Nova Scotia, and the hot sands of Palm Beach. It also includes Professorate's private selections like Biarritz in France. Now, once upon a time, according to Nabokov, Biarritz still had its quiddity, as he put it. Those were the days when Empress Eugenie, wife of Napoleon III, people like Queen Victoria, Edward VII, and the rest of European royalty could be found there. In Nabokov's memory, men sported little white trousers that to the eye of today would look as if they had comically shrunk in the washing machine. And ladies sported dense embroidered white veils, frill-fonted blouses, and frills at their wrists, frills on everything, their parasols. Professional bathers, burly Basques in black bathing suits to, again, quote Nabokov, who came here from Russia by elegant rail cars, as did other aristocrats. They helped the ladies and the children enjoy the terror of the surf. The quiddity may be gone with the nobility, but the elegance just lingers on. Grand and elegant old hotels, they still overlook the wave-tossed beaches here. But the casino has now been joined by a museum of chocolate, and now surfing, because Biarritz has become the surf capital of Europe. Nabokov's Lolitas, they have all become surf babes now. Biarritz glamour, surf, all this, and French Basque cuisine as well. Of course, Biarritz isn't as much fun in January as, say, Copacabana Beach in Rio de Janeiro. Forget about Barry Manilow, forget about Fred and Ginger, forget about the girl from Ipanema. She's a grandmother now. But fly down to Rio and head to the Copacabana Beach if you can. Make sure you leave your valuables in the hotel safe though. There is nothing on earth like the sheer vitality of young Brazilians at play, and this is the place you're going to see it. Okay, you can see a little bit more upscale version of the same on Ipanema and Leblon, which is just down to the south. And you've got the incredible skyline of the crazy peaks all around Rio, all around you. Afterwards, take the cable car up to the top of Sugarloaf and you got a great view of everything down below. At night, you don't want to miss a trip to the Samba School in one of the favelas. That's the notorious slums which breed both violence and passionate creative culture. But after you've had all your fun in Rio, Brazil has so much more to offer. If you have the funds and the time, try to get yourself over to Sancho Bay, Fernando de Noronha Island in Brazil. This is an ecotourism dream, and it's hard to get to, but it's an adventurer's dream as well. More accessible, but still remote, you might want to try Jericoacoara in Serra, Brazil. This is a windsurfing mecca. The wild northeast coast of Brazil has become a mecca for backpackers and windsurfers from all around the world. This is where they come, a place of dunes, a place of dreams. Jeri, as it's come to be known, is 190 miles northwest of the city of Fortaleza, and it's reachable daily by bus. As an environmental preserve, Jeri remains one of the cleanest and one of the wildest, yet one of the most remote beach resorts on the entire planet. If Brazil doesn't have you sold on the Atlantic yet, here's a couple of more options you might want to consider. How about South Beach in Miami? Famous more for Art Deco architecture and the wildlife up on shore than for what happens out there in the water. And then the Turks and Caicos, an island country in the Atlantic. Now, Grace Bay is our pick here. This is a tourist resort built on one of the finest stretches of sand in the entire world. A bit further north, you're going to find the Bahamas. You can get away from the big resorts there and you'll find some extraordinary spots. So, does the Atlantic convince you quite yet? Well, if not, here's one more suggestion to kind of blow your mind, but make sure you go there in the summer. Lofoten Islands in Norway. Now, if you can ignore the occasional patches of snow that are streaking down off the cliffs and somehow water temperatures in the high 40s, maybe the low 50s doesn't faze you, the beaches here may have you thinking of the South Pacific, believe it or not. In few places on the globe can you find whiter beaches, clearer waters, or more spectacular mountain backdrops than right here. And where else can you take a sunset swim at 1 o'clock in the morning? Remember, you're north of the Arctic Circle when you go here. Now, our choice is Yucatali Beach. It's on an island that I can't pronounce, and don't you try to pronounce it either. Just write it down, get a car or rent a bike, and just go there. But before jumping into the water here, you might want to visit a cardiologist and get his okay before you do it. For Professorate.com, I'm Rick Chambers.